beautiful Thursday morning in early May, we begin the home exhibition schedule for the Hamilton Cardinals. It's Hamilton Cardinals IPL baseball right back here on Cable 14 for the first time in 9-10 months. It is my pleasure to introduce my broadcast partner, Neil Srivastava, and joining us right off the top to open up the season, Hamilton Cardinals General Manager George Salim. George, it's great to be back. Thanks for having us again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. We've been looking forward to this for a while.
Absolutely. I mean, since last season came to a close, and what a season it was for the Cardinals, a rebirth of baseball in the city of Hamilton. Neil and I had the best seats in the house to witness that rebirth, and you have gone from it being reborn to thriving at another level with the roster you've assembled for this season. Maybe an easy one right off the top, but how much fun was it over the offseason putting this group of players together?
The most beneficial thing about getting bounced early in the playoffs was that we could start early for the following season, right? So that was our only competitive advantage in losing in the first round, was we took all of like a few hours off and started immediately, and it was fun, right? I mean, I've always seen this job as, and I've told the players that this is like MLB The Show to me, right? And this is franchise mode, and this is my fantasy team in real life. And so to have the ability to spend a full off season, because I got this job, I think last November, or so it was in November, and so I didn't have the full fall to actually plan. It was more put a roster together late. So this off season was much more peaceful. The roster is more or less full, and so we want to get down to business with the guys that we have and start building towards culture. And I feel like we have that so far.
You were under the gun a little bit to start last season. As you mentioned, November was really the start time for you. You still end up with the MVP and Tyler Duncan. You bring him back. Brandon Nicholson comes back, one of the big acquisitions. Luis Bernardo comes back, a rock behind the plate. Tanner Rempel is back. He really caught fire. And then you added a bunch of new, fresh talent around them. How exciting was it to be able to go out and pick up a pitcher that can throw with both hands, a few extra arms out of the bullpen, a few players through the field to secure both your infield and your outfield? And where was the starting point? Where did you want to get better? Or was it just, we're going to make every position better?
No, we were looking to upgrade at the spots that we needed. You got to be good up the middle, and that combined with the import situation, the way that I saw it was the imports are here to be stopgaps for the positions that we haven't filled locally yet. Right? The ideal perfect world is that you have a bunch of imports that are arms, because you can't get the type of anomalous arm such as an ambidextrous Japanese arm locally. And so until we get to that point, I had to get the imports that were going to play the positions and impact the game in a way that we needed. So shortstop was a focal point, right? I started out with getting Katsuya. It's funny, Larry and I were saying that we have moved on from, I think, 3 or 4 guys this season that we signed for this season that never even played with us this season. And so I'm always trying to upgrade the lineup while maintaining the culture. So I got to be conscious of that. But generally speaking, there's no one area. I mean, I still feel like we have the best outfield in the league. We definitely needed more pitching. That was always the focal point. So to start loading up on arms immediately, I already feel better with the arms we got coming out now and the options we have at the beginning of the season than we did all of last season.
Before I pass it along to Neil, I will mention that the man who's moving over to shortstop is the MVP, Tyler Duncan, to become what I believe would be the world's biggest shortstop. He's a player who wants to play that position, though, George. An incredible athlete at that size. We saw it last year in the outfield, some of the ridiculous grabs that he can make. How special is it to have a player of that size with that athletic ability to come to you and say, I'm an MVP, I can drive this team at the plate, and I want to play one of the most important spots on the field?
The circumstance surrounding Dunk going to shortstop was a decision Dunk and I made collectively that would benefit the team, right? So when we had Katsuya at shortstop, it was because we didn't have the Canadian shortstop, right? But then when Duncan caught wind of that, Duncan's a team guy. The thing that makes Duncan the MVP isn't only the tangible stuff that he does on the field, it's the intangibles that he brings to the clubhouse off the field. And so to have the ability to walk in and take command and just say that, he never said I'm going to be the best shortstop. He just said I'm going to do it and help us win because I'll do anything to win. And that freed us up to keep Higuchi, which now allows us to have, if you want to call the ambidextrous arm 2 arms, 3 import arms, because Duncan made the decision to play shortstop. So that decision is now going to have a ripple effect on how I can strengthen the roster, add more arms, all because the MVP made a very MVP-type decision for the club.
Absolutely. Neil?
And what you're going to see this year is because now you've also you've taken over as the GM of the junior team as well. So
Yes, sir.
now you've got opportunities to, I don't want to say hide players down there, but definitely develop some more younger players that can come into these roles in the next 3-4 years as well.
Yeah, hiding isn't really the word for me, right? Like, I want to make sure that we knock on the front door, let everybody know we're coming.
Yeah.
It's no secret that I took over the junior team and overhauled it because I don't want our IBL guys to get hurt or struggle at the dish and feel like they may lose their job to somebody that's outside of the organization. I want culture to really bleed down to the junior team. That's why you see junior guys out on the field, because they will be the ones that step up and make that play when our IBL guys can't. It feels better when a junior guy within the org gets the game-winning hit as opposed to the guy that you just signed to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of culture we want. And it's going to take time. It's going to hurt, but it hurts more when you just keep killing culture and keep trying to rebuild. It takes longer to rebuild culture than to find talent, right? And so I may as well start now in the culture, develop the talent, and see what happens.
I've been around that a lot, George, and obviously you know my work with the Bulldogs on the hockey side of things, and the length of time it took Steve Stais to come in and how he made everything about culture first. It was about getting great players, but it was more so about getting great personalities, building that culture to not win once, but to continue to win. We saw the beginning of that, the groundwork laid last year. The ultimate goal is obviously to win a championship,
right?
But what are the immediate goals right now for the Hamilton Cardinals? What's going to say to you, I'm seeing that culture beyond what a Tyler Duncan has said about moving into the infield to help the team win? What are the next steps in seeing that culture come forward?
I want to see how they carry themselves, right? I mean, I made a lot of changes over a bunch of months this offseason, whereas last year when I made all those changes at the deadline, you could see the type of shift in culture that was. And so I have long-term goals with the Cards, and I also have patience. I don't think that you can have long-term goals and not have patience.
No.
So with the patience comes the growing pains of the unknowns. You have a bunch of young guys that don't have a ton of experience in the IBL, but you have a lot of gifted ball players, and my goal is to hunt out the good people that happen to be good ball players, because you can teach them, right? And you can teach them to be better ball players, but I can't teach them to be good people. So what am I striving for? A headache-less, easygoing, chill as the wind type of season where they can play relaxed. We're going to try some new things. We're going to try and implement some data and some tech and some of my ideas and use this as a platform. But in order to do that, these guys got to be patient with me, because I'm also trying to win. I'm not doing anything I'm not trying to do anything other than compete. And they know that that's where my heart is, and that's how we can roll. So, yeah.
You referenced franchise mode in MLB The Show earlier on.
Yeah.
And you just brought up bringing data into the scenario as well.
Uh-huh.
How much fun is it to be in your seat and be able to have the freedom with Eric to say, yeah, I want to do this. I want to bring data in. I want to have more tools in my belt, and have an owner that goes, yeah, let's do that.
It's the most empowering feeling in the world. I was talking to Larry about that yesterday, and one of our junior coaches, about how one of the driving reasons why I took this job was because I got a baseball stadium and a baseball team and a platform. There's no amount of money that measures the ceilingless ability we have here in Hamilton. And that's what I'm striving for, is you couldn't pay me enough to just get a baseball team, do what I want with it, and if the end goal is win within the budget, that seems pretty straightforward to me, and it's my job to do it. So it's a close to home, biggest dog park in Hamilton for Oakley, and I just get to watch these guys.
You'll definitely see Oakley and Ren getting along probably for sure throughout the season.
The city and I are at odds, but I think you give it some time. We got to win, and then they'll let him on. But you get a winning record with the dog around, they might let him on the field a little bit more.
100%, 100%. We've seen that happen before.
But no, that's where we're at. It should be a fun year. I want to use the data. It would be a decent year for that.
So how does a guy like Lennon Picotta wind up coaching the Hamilton Cardinals?
How does he wind up coaching the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Very carefully, right?
Yeah.
He was the manager of Bernardo's professional team in Nicaragua. I was looking for a manager. After Dean decided to move into the role with Larry and I in the front office, I had it in my head that the only guys on the Hamilton Cardinals roster that were getting paid to play baseball were my imports. And so it logically made sense that in the one role I needed somebody to think about nothing but winning in an impartial way, why wouldn't an import make sense? That was just a very easy decision. So I went out and looked for an import. He happened to check off all the boxes. He happened to have played in the bigs with the Expos, and he knows Canadians, and we know people in common. And baseball is the smallest world in the world, right? And when you meet people in it, you just feel like family. And so he fits in so well. His culture, his vibe, the way that he is around our players, the way that he is around our staff. For a new guy to feel so welcome is, I don't know, it makes you feel good about Hamilton again, all over again. So,
love it.
Yeah.
You see this today. A school day game. We're going to do another one tomorrow. This place is packed. The kids are already going nuts. We can hear it in the headsets.
Yep.
How exciting is this, George, when you think of what this is going to be like along the season? This is just the first of many, many packed days, nights at Bernie Arbor Stadium, and you're smiling already.
Yep.
Yeah, because I remember doing my interview down there last year and telling them that I have never looked up in the bleachers and not seen 3,000 people, and we're getting closer.
Yeah,
and that's all I'm going to say is we're getting closer, and how can this not be a sign of growth?
No, absolutely. When Eric came in, he made the statement, it is the most undervalued sports product in this area. He was exactly right, and you've already seen what 1 year of work from Eric and yourself and the players on the field have done to reinvigorate baseball spirit in Hamilton. It was always a proud baseball tradition. It felt like it went away. Now it's back in a big, big way.
If I may, I'm going to say that everybody in the org played such a huge role, from Joey, game day staff, Eric, Larry. It's been a fun time.
Down to the field for the national anthem. George Lee for being up here with us. George, I know you got work to do, business to take care of. Thanks as always for your time. We are going to ask you to check in several times as this season goes along.
Appreciate you guys having me. Let's have a good ball game. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us again. George Lee, one of the elite minds in Canadian baseball, and he is so much fun to be able to work with, be able to talk to. And Neil, anytime that we can get just a few minutes of his time, he lends so much to the broadcast.
He definitely does, He's just a wealth of knowledge, and that, no kidding, he's got that Rolodex that's just like, you think it extends throughout the whole nation of Canada.
And internationally, as we've seen with the managerial situation that you brought up.
Exactly.
What a wild way to open the offseason when they announced an import manager to kick things off, and you just had the sense from there this was going to be a different kind of year.
Well, exactly. I was sitting actually in that chair where you're sitting right there when the announcement came out. I was doing the OUA championships, and then Eric's like, hey, you might want to check your phone.
I remember getting on and immediately messaging you, like, wow, okay.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like, okay, they're not fooling around.
And speaking of not fooling around, look who's on the hill to start exhibition home game number 1. The Langley lefty, Colby Ring, is back.
Ringer's back, and he's looking to take some names, I guess he did last year. Hopefully they get the Cardinals off on the right foot here in their, I guess, home exhibition opener anyways. They have played a couple of exhibition games, of course, losing to London on Saturday afternoon at Labatt Park, and then, of course, And they entered school day game on Tuesday. Unfortunately, on the wrong end of a 9-2 loss to the Welland Jackfish, the same Jackfish they're playing today.
The defending champions, and the lineup card looks a little bit different for Welland today. It makes them no less dangerous.
No, it definitely is. Of course, it isn't during a school day, so a lot of guys that are working, everything else, probably couldn't get the day off, especially when they probably took Tuesday or Monday night off because they were playing the Quebec City Capitals as well. So the Jackfish, I do like lineup, and of course some guys out of the lineup as well too, because they're still in Australia. They're still in their places right now because they're finishing up school. But yeah, don't take this Jackfish lineup too lightly whatsoever, because he still can hurt you in so many ways.
Dupuis, Moretto, Porcelato, the first three hitters. If anybody reaches base, Ethan Hunt right there, you got a problem.
Oh, exactly. Those guys are those four guys can do enough damage to put you behind the 8 ball in a hurry here.
We were joking with George earlier on, talking about the lack of players, and obviously for fans who watched the Allen Cup final right here on Cable 14 and CH a couple of weeks ago, very similar in that guys have to actually go to work. This isn't professional baseball in that sense. These are guys playing for a love of the game and doing so at an extremely high level, but it means at times not available.
Exactly, they do. You know, I had to book off time off work. I guess when your schedule, you probably switched a little bit more because the Bulldogs are done for the year, but you're probably still working from the office a few days a week.
You better believe it. No late nights, at least. Well, other than when the Bruins are in the playoffs.
Well, let's not go there.
We don't have to talk about Game 2.
No,
we don't have to talk about Game 2.
No, we won't talk about that. We won't talk about last weekend either.
Nope, we don't have to. That's fine. I'm just happy to let it go.
It's the pain. It's the annual pain.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
As Colby Ring to deliver his second pitch of the ball game. And that one high and away, 1-1. Ring, we saw, was it 3 or 4 straight Fridays to open up last summer.
2 games back-to-back against the Maple Leafs to start his IBL career.
He was brilliant. And that one right on the outside, 1-2. He brings a deceptive pitch mix, Neil, at that breaking ball, and he'll come right back, fastball away, and it is deadly.
Of course, he was at Antelope Valley before he joined the Cardinals, and of course, sadly, the Antelope Valley Athletics shut down their baseball program halfway through the season this year.
Yeah, that is a real shame, and you hope we've seen it. A number of schools shutting down. I remember UAB shuttered football for a while.
Yeah,
you never want to see that happen. As Ring delivers, Dupuis on the ground is short. There's the MVP. Duncan over to Rempel at first. 1 down.
Not many guys would step into a role like Tyler Duncan and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna change positions." When I heard that, I was just like, I just couldn't believe it.
I had the same reaction when I was told that Tyler Duncan, the MVP, the best right fielder in the IBL last year.
Yep.
And I mean that both offensively and defensively.
No, there's no question. There's no doubt about it.
He's going to shortstop.
Yep.
I said to Eric Spearin, that is the world's largest shortstop.
Now Steven Moretto into the box here. Moretto had an all-star season. He played a lot between first base, third base. He also DH'd for a bit. He actually made the all-star team as the DH. So you'll see Moretto play a lot of positions. It all depends who's in the lineup as far as for the Jackfish too. Manager Brian Esri has lots of options when it comes to Moretto and company.
Moretto especially, he's the kind of player that you need to win with.
Yeah.
He can play, as you mentioned, Neil, so many positions across the field. He opens it up to be able to bring in other talent at different spots because you can Swiss Army knife him. He can play anywhere.
Oh, exactly.
Ring winds and delivers. And Moretto hammers that one just out past the school kids, and I think he put a dent in the bus.
Yeah, dent in the bus and a chase for the souvenir.
There was, pretty good chase going on. I'm hoping that there was extra insurance taken out on some of these school buses.
Well, that's
today.
actually the Welland Jackfish bus out there with no logo on it. So yeah,
no.
I can just see the fans at home going, "It's okay if we hit that one."
Popped high into the air. Rempel backing in the infield, 2 away.
Well, but it's great to see so many school kids here. It's definitely a more boisterous crowd, that's for sure. And I hope they'll come out to these games, tell their parents when they go home tonight, we had such a great time, Mom and Dad. We got to come back.
Well, and that's the key. And I remember doing it for so many years with the Bulldogs and the ability to do the school day games. The only problem was he'd go deaf for a couple of weeks following it. But in those times when you could put in 9,000, 10,000 screaming kids to the point where the Bulldogs had to split it over 2 days, which is what Eric Spearn has done here. Today and tomorrow, going back-to-back school days, and I mean, you're talking about between 5,000 and 6,000 school kids that are going to come through the gates.
Well, it was just great when Eric messaged me originally. He said, well, by the way, we're doing a school day game. And he sent me the date, and then I think it was like a week later. We sold the first game. We had to order the second game. It's like, okay.
That's exactly what you want.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm booking 2 days off in a row? Well, okay. I don't mind taking out of work for a couple of days to go hang out in baseball.
And a day like this, what a beauty is our umpire took a ball where you don't really want to take a ball.
No, you don't want to do that.
Luis Bernardo right over to him to make sure everything is okay. And I think Luis is going to come out to talk to Colby Ring and maybe
We've
give
got
a
signs in the stands today.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, you look down at the grandstand in front of us, it's packed. Third baseline, first baseline, jammed. I mean, this is exactly what you want to see. And as you said, Neil, all these kids going home tonight and telling their parents they want to come back out. And, we'd love to see them on a Friday night, a Sunday afternoon.
Exactly.
In those Friday night games, when you get Emily flying around the stadium here, and Emily Thompson, who you will recognize and likely see again as our pseudo third person for the game today. I mean, there's fun all over this stadium. Ball hammered into right field. And on is Mateo Porcelato with a single. And that is what makes these Jackfish so dangerous, is that at any point you start to get one runner on, you put them back to back, and danger can happen quickly, as Dennis DeBanning made the play back into the infield.
Of course, danger can happen in the field and everything else. And of course, they're once they get on the base paths, and there's pretty much to a man out there, the Jackfish aren't afraid to try to take that second base out here.
And just left that breaking ball hanging ever so slightly. And Porcelato said, thank you very much.
Yep.
Ethan Hunt with the very distinct batting stance.
I'm glad the Jackfish also clarified my question on social media about Ethan Hunt, if they're actually playing the Mission Impossible theme when he comes to bat and everything else. And lo and behold, Tuesday night, I think they were trying to tag me in the post when he came up to the plate.
That's fantastic. Ring winds and delivers skied high. Just outside of the third base line. Bernardo's underneath it. And it took 4 batters, 3 away. Colby Ring, very, very strong opening inning of work, Neil.
Indeed it was. Ring gets the job done in the first inning. It's now up to the Cardinals to come to the bat and hoping to continue that trend here.
And we'll be back with the Cardinals swinging the bats. You're watching IBL Hamilton Cardinals baseball on Cable 14. Cardinals will have the bats in their hands for the first time on the morning. And Neil, it is a different looking lineup for the Cardinals, especially being in preseason, but a very deep lineup being assembled this season.
Indeed, it is a very deep lineup. Brandon Nicholson will lead things off. Cam Gravel, the third baseman, I believe is a junior call-up He's playing third base. Tyler Duncan, as we mentioned, off the top, is now the shortstop. He's batting third. Tanner Rempel moves into the fourth spot. Dennis DeBanning is batting fifth. Josh Williams, the designated hitter, the former London Major, now making his home here at the Nest in Hamilton. Luis Bernardo is catching, batting seventh. Brendan Daly is batting eighth. And Alex Horowitz is in second base. He's another junior call-up. He's batting ninth.
And they will face Francisco Jimenez.
Former Orioles draft pick. Of course, he was signed by the Orioles out of the Dominican League at the age of 17. And he bounced around a little bit with the Orioles, and then he went up to the Frontier League. And he was playing in the Nicaraguan Winter League last year before the Jackfish signed him to a contract to start the season.
Now, a bit of a jersey number thing, as Jimenez listed as 38, but wearing 13.
Yeah, it's probably, again, it's just probably whatever jerseys they have kicking around right now. I'm sure, like everybody else, they're probably waiting for uniforms to get through here.
Yeah. Out for cresting.
Yep.
What number are you? It doesn't matter. Give me the ball.
Just give me the ball, Coach. I'll take it.
And he can certainly do that. As Brandon Nicholson, the former Jackfish speedster, at the dish. And if he gets on, Neil, a single becomes 3 bags for
usually
Nicholson
it does,
quick.
Yes, usually does. Especially when he's feeling at home here, and I hope he's starting to get himself accustomed to this ballpark. Of course, it's acquired with a couple days before the signing deadline. The Jackfish needed an open spot, and of course he's an import, so he was made available to the Cardinals.
Another spot where George Leem said, thank you very much.
Exactly. Checks in the mail.
Yeah. Jimenez winds and delivers that one inside, and Nicholson will happily take the walk. That's what they'll look for with him out of that leadoff spot this season, Neil. Get on base. Doesn't matter how you get there.
Well, exactly. Get on base and just, find your way into scoring position so we can get somebody else to catch you home.
Cam Gravel, our first look at Burning Arbor Stadium of Cam Gravel on the season, and a newcomer to the Cardinals.
Yep. A lot of new faces in this Cardinals lineup, but he'll be one of them, that's for sure.
And Nicholson already off for second on the slide, and he's in. Ethan Hunt, nice play to stab that backhanded to keep it from rolling into center field, or else Nicholson would still be on the go.
Yep. Masuki Fukuto, the Jackfish catcher today, the former Ottawa Titans of the Frontier League. With that throw, a little bit off target here. Nicholson having a chat with his old teammates.
It's got to be tough when you're trying to throw Nicholson.
Yep.
Jimenez has a long look back, and this is where Brandon Nicholson is such a dangerous piece of the Cardinals lineup, Neil. He gets into pitchers' heads when he's on the
their
base
eye line,
paths.
too, just when they're looking back there, and it's like, oh, what are you doing standing there?
And look how far over your shortstop now has to shade, and it opens up a massive hole.
Well, of course, Tyler Duthie pretty much has to almost concede his position to keep Nicholson close at second base.
Jimenez winds, delivers, and that one's slapped on the ground, foul.
Count now 1-2 on Gravel.
Gravel would love nothing more than to just move Nicholson along here and get on base himself if he can in the process. And Jimenez is going to try it back to second, and again, ball had to be stabbed down. Dupuis kept it in front of him. And there is the constant danger of Brandon Nicholson, and I mean, that's just great to see. See players out talking to the kids today. It's what this day is all about, as Gravel waves that one back foul.
Yep.
Count stays 1-2. I think I stand corrected. Count is 0-2. I think we had a...
I think we had a ball from the last count, probably. Yeah.
Yep.
It's spring training for everybody.
Absolutely.
Plus, with the sun beating down on that scoreboard, it's very hard to see if you can't even, from where we are anyways.
Now it's 1-2.
Yeah, now it's 1-2.
And now Fukuto and Jimenez are going to have a chat. Now, you mentioned earlier, Neil, that Fukuto is not listed yet on the Jackfish roster, and that this could be a bit of a tryout or a bit of a look at whether he might be the right guy to work with this pitching staff and part of a very deep battery for the Jackfish.
Of course, you got Greg Marco back there as well. He's actually the DH today, too. So, plus then you have the newcomer, the OCAA reigning player of the year from the Durham Lords, who's been doing some catching this week as well. And he's had a great week.
Jimenez checks Nicholson back again. Ball's going to pop loose, but Hunt will jog to it before Nicholson can get on his horse.
Not sure if that went off the base or off of Dupuy's glove.
Yeah, hard to see from our angle. Judging by the spring on it, I got to think it was the base.
Yeah.
And they are playing a game of cat and mouse with Nicholson, but Jimenez is going to get Gravel swinging, and that's one away.
One away, and that's going to bring up the reigning MVP and now the shortstop of your Hamilton Cardinals, Tyler Duncan.
Rocky Mountain Thunder is back. Still with the best mustache in the IBL.
Oh, exactly. Of course, when we were talking about mustaches, on the 19th, of course, is Superhero Day and Tyler Duncan Mustache Day.
It had to be.
It had to be. I just thought that was hilarious, so I think I'm going to bring the kids because I'm sure my daughter will get a kick out of that.
And Duncan hammers it deep into right field. Does it stay fair?
It does.
It's gone. It took one pitch, and Tyler Duncan hammers it over the right field wall. 2-0 Cardinals.
That's the Tyler Duncan everybody was expecting to see. He got a hold of that one, and absolutely no doubt is over to the Luna sign in the right field, hugging the pole and staying fair.
Wow.
2-0 Cardinals early here in the first.
Well, last year we had an impressive home run chase throughout the course of the season, and Tyler Duncan, I think, is saying, I want a little bit more of that.
He's ready for round two. Mr. Salazzo, you listening at home? The challenge has been thrown down.
Let's go. Yeah, Jonathan Salazzo, like Tyler Duncan, one flick of the wrist, and the ball can be way, way out.
Got to bring up Tanner Rempel now.
One of the best personalities in baseball.
Yep.
Said it last year. Reminds me of the catcher from Summer Catch.
Summer Catch, yeah.
Just a guy who has a whole lot of fun playing the game.
He does.
And Rempel going to be a key piece of these Cardinals because he can play first base, he can play third base, he can catch, he can play in the outfield. As Jimenez delivers. And Rempel got way out front of that as he looked to tear the cover off of it. We saw at one point last year, Neil, Rempel was flirting with 400 as a batting average.
He was, yeah. And he was just battling through injuries as well. And it's just, I think he's going to have a great year.
Although Jimenez gets him there. Strike three on the swing. And that will lead Dennis DeBanning up to the plate with 2 away and nobody on.
I don't know if you saw the article that was written on Dennis in the off season or not, but now we talked about he had the opportunity to go to the States and go to school, but decided to stay close to home just because, again, it was just like a lot of guys and everything else just couldn't afford the money to go across the border and everything else, plus the living expenses. So he stayed close to home and had a great career with Humber College. Then he signed with the Jackfish out of Humber. And then when the Jackfish let him go, he found a new home here in Hamilton and just taken over as one of the everyday outfielders in this Cardinals lineup.
Judging by what he brought to the table last year, I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
No.
Jimenez delivers. DeBanning thought about it and saw it in a little bit high. He's got a great eye at the plate, Neil, for watching in the zone. We saw him show that last year a couple times where he extended at bats before turning on a ball and clearing the fence.
We get him going on a regular basis, it's going to be an absolutely difficult lineup to go through.
He makes it hard on pitchers because he makes you work in the strike zone.
Yep.
He doesn't chase all that often. And we saw a couple. He had a knack last year as well for coming up with a big hit in a big moment.
He definitely did.
As Jimenez delivers and DeBanning will take the walk. Jimenez kind of working around DeBanning a little bit there. And I don't know if that might be exactly the way you want to go with another big fella on deck.
I think he was trying to wait for, hoping DeBanning would chase something out of the zone so he could at least, okay, he's going to go after this pitch. I can throw a couple more back out there. Maybe get himself out here. And now you got Josh Williams, who came within inches out the bat park of hitting one out of the park. He hit the top of the fence in the 6th inning.
What an addition Josh Williams was over the offseason. There's a DH that'll strike fear and nearly sent a ball to Grimsby.
Yep. Guarantee he'll be fishing lots of ones if he gets a hold of them now that those trees out in right field for sure.
Large park at Bernie Arbor Stadium is diving back to first as DeBanning. Ball escapes, bit of a cross-up, and DeBanning's going to jog his way over to second.
Grayson Barrett was on top of DeBanning, unfortunately, not by choice, but unfortunately that's what happened.
Barrett almost cartwheeled over the top.
I guarantee he's probably apologizing to him just on the infield now. Say, sorry, man, not my fault.
We'll take another look as the ball into first to try to check DeBanning back, and then watch out.
Yep, they're both trying to get up, and it just butts over tea kettles.
Both trying to get out of the way of each other, and they
exactly
end up piled. Jimenez looking to check DeBanning back.
The key to Josh Williams is going to be staying healthy. Hopefully his knees are both intact now. Of course, he was battling a lot of knee injuries while a member of the London Majors. Look at that guy.
Wow. How about that? Standing in the dugout, Stefan Strecker next to Tyler Duncan, the legend and the MVP.
Yeah. He cleans up pretty well.
Hey, he's looking all right down there.
Yeah.
Looks like he's right at home. Maybe a coaching spot.
Maybe, I don't know. I know he's been busy doing lots of stuff with his kids this offseason. So
Absolutely.
Saw pictures on Instagram. I guess they were doing something in the kitchen over the last couple of days too. So I kind of wanted to go say, where's mine?
Well, and Stefan Strecker wanted to give back in the community as well. He is in education. I believe he's a principal.
I think he is, yeah.
As Brendan Nicolau, our producer, is in my ear, pretty much giving me confirmation on that. Nice. And a balk called on Jimenez, which is going to give DeBanning third base.
So we got to second base on the E1 on the throw, and now he got to third on the balk. For the benefit of people scoring at home today. No point streak because the IBL database does not usually count exhibition games. They don't want to mess the stats up, so not available.
But Josh Williams will go down swinging, and that will send the Welland Jackfish back to the dugout as we take another look at the balk back.
Yeah, he was fully facing the batter when he disengaged.
Well,
that's the right call.
They didn't get everything they wanted in that first inning, Neil, leaving one on third, but the 2-run shot by Tyler Duncan makes the difference. 2-0 Cardinals after one full inning.
Indeed it is.
Jackfish back up to the plate. We'll be right back with you. Hamilton Cardinals IBL Baseball on Cable 14. Hamilton Cardinals IBL baseball on Cable 14. Cardinals 2-0 lead after one full inning over the defending champion Welland Jackfish. Granted, exhibition ball, and Neil, a 2-0 lead becomes a little bit more important in a game like today because our viewers from last year's Hamilton Cardinals games will be used to 9 innings. Today,
it's
7.
only 7. It's only 7 today. Just get some guys some extra reps. Grayson Barrett leads things off here. Barrett, who's listed as an outfielder, is playing first base today because, again, like we said, it's a school day game, so a lot of guys unable to book off work because it is a working man's league after all. So Barrett gets to call it first.
Ring delivers, and that'll be 3-0. It is incredible when you think of the quality of baseball that we saw. Forget the history of the IBL, which is so rich.
Yep.
Just last year, the quality of baseball that we saw day in, day out, night in, night out, in a league where guys predominantly playing Thursday to Sunday have to go to work on Monday.
Oh, exactly.
It's incredible. As Barrett's going to draw the walk from Ring. And that's where I don't think the players in the IBL have ever gotten enough credit because of what they have to do to be able to succeed in this league. You have to balance your work, regular work, your family, and baseball.
Yep, and it's a very delicate balance in many cases.
I can barely balance cooking dinner and sweeping a floor.
That's why thank God for Jenny. That's all I can say. She loves baseball. She booked off 2 days from school too. She works as an educational assistant.
Oh,
she
that's
booked the 2
fantastic.
days off, and said, "Yeah, we'll go down.
Have some fun."
Yep. So we're spending the night here in Hamilton tonight. Just
Hey!
get away from the kids, get away from everybody else, and just relax.
What's on the menu tonight?
I have no idea yet, so we're looking for menu suggestions.
Okay, off air, I'll give you some restaurants. I don't want to offend anybody by mentioning one and not the other.
We don't want to alienate a sponsor. We didn't
No,
mention them.
exactly. But there are no shortage of options from where we are sitting right now within about a 20-minute radius. You can get anything. Ball on the ground. Fukuda sends it to second. There's one for Duncan. Back to first. Rempel. Ball on the ground will hop. Bernardo follows behind, and that will keep Fukuda stationed at first base.
Fukuda will reach on the fielder's choice. Does not advance. Bernardo was right there to get the errant throw. And Nolan Phelan, the left fielder, will be the batter now with one away.
So one away, one on with Phelan up to the dish. And Phelan, I believe, a newcomer to the Jackfish.
He is not a newcomer. I believe he's on their junior team, actually, but I'm just looking that up right now.
Again, Neil and I are doing our best considering with it being exhibition and teams maybe not knowing who was going to be here until
game time.
Yeah,
really.
game first pitch was about 11:15. I don't think they knew entirely what the rosters were going to look like until about 11:14.
Yep.
So we're just going with it today.
That's what we are.
Because once the IBL point streak gets up, we'll sound like geniuses.
Yep. Any errors or omissions we apologize in advance for.
Spring training for everyone.
Exactly.
This Phelan looking in, Ring delivers 1-0. To be fair, as Brendan Nicolau, our great producer, just said, mid-season form downstairs in the truck. They had the Allen Cup final to warm up with for Cardinals season and did a spectacular job on that.
No question they did. As
Phelan will have the single into DeBanning in right field, and it's runners on first and second. It was an honor to be able to be a part of that broadcast. I got to host the desk with Troy Islikar, who's going to join us on Friday nights. And just to see what these guys were able to pull off. And there's community television, and then there's what Cable 14 can do.
Yep. Well, they spoil us here, that's for sure.
Unbelievably spoiled. Unbelievably spoiled. Have been for many, many years as Colby Ring delivers, and it'll be 1-0 to Marco.
I remember getting the call from Eric last year going, Cable 14 wants you back. And I'm like, I'm on the roster?
You're on the roster. You're
all
in.
Right.
Well, that took all of about one inning.
I know, but still nice to hear. Nice to be wanted.
Definitely. You're not going anywhere, pal. As that one right on the corner. Great pitch there by Ring. Even Marco had to nod the head on that one.
Yeah, say, hey, you fooled me. Okay. It's there today. Of course, Marco, like I said, he's usually a catcher, so he's definitely going to give Bernardo and company the nod here.
Ring delivers. Brought that one running inside to get it to 1-2. And Colby Ring, when he gets into a rhythm, starts mixing in the breaking ball. If he's finding the plate with it, dangerous, dangerous pitcher.
Indeed it is.
Oh, gets Marco swinging as he brought some speed on that one on the end.
Got Marco to chase one on the other half. Gets the second out of the inning. Going to bring up Ethan Pasco, the center fielder, and the 9 spot today.
Well, Colby Ring just beginning his second season in the IPL. And, Neil, if this is going to be a long-term run for him in this league, he's got all the ability to be one of the best pitchers in the IBL.
Oh, exactly. Nothing seems to phase him out there. If you put him out as a starter, you put him as a reliever, it doesn't seem to bother him. He just wants the ball.
And ran that one inside on Pasco, 1-0. We were impressed with him right away when we saw the mix that he brought from the mound. And as you said, that confidence level, nothing phases him. And he came right onto the mound last year with a little bit of swagger. And I think that really helped drive him as Bernardo trying to catch back at first. Rempel made a step back in and just getting back was failing.
That ball was on the money, just a little bit more in front of Rempel. He might have got him.
Luis Bernardo quick behind the plate. And Bernardo, one of those players, have ball, will travel.
Yep.
Ring winds and delivers, and Pasco's gonna shoot that into left. That'll be brought down, and that will end the top of the inning. Colby Ring strands 2. And Neil, right now, Colby Ring looking very strong through his first 2 innings of work on the home half.
Definitely what you want to see if you're a Cardinals fan. You want to see your starting pitcher, and especially you want to see Colby Ring be dialed in here early in the get-goes, because you're going to be a lot. The baseball is going to become suddenly real next Thursday night.
Luis Bernardo will lead it off for the Cardinals when we return for the home half. You're watching Hamilton Cardinals IBL Baseball on Cable 14. Welcome back to Hamilton Cardinals IBL Baseball here on Cable 14. And Neil, it is essentially spring training, and we have already seen a pitching change.
Seen a pitching change, and of course, yes, you're going to probably see that a fair bit here too. A lot of guys just trying to get an inning of work here and an inning of work there.
As Bernardo,
Jackfish, of course, opening their season next week as well, like the Cardinals are.
Bernardo skies one into foul territory. 3 Jackfish on the run for it. And I do believe that was Tyler Dupuis, the shortstop, who came up with it.
Shortstop made the catch on the run down the line for out number 1. And Brendan Daly now the batter, the left fielder today.
Daly, who we saw impress when he arrived off the junior squad last season.
Yep.
He fit right in.
He did. He's going to be spending a lot of time between both teams this year as well.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. If my hearing was correct, I believe it was Evan Martin who's announced in on the mound wearing the number 4. As again, we're playing with the big Rolodex today. There are junior players up. There are players potentially on tryouts involved. As Daly slaps that one foul. So the housekeeping will not be the easiest task that we've ever had today. But we're giving it a go.
We're giving it a go, of course. Mistakes will happen. We'll fix them.
And then we keep going.
Exactly.
Daly on the ground, just foul. There was a little bit of space there as he shot it up the third base line. If he could have snuck it past Moretto.
Willis Daly is 6'3", 185 pounds. Attending Patrick and Henry Community College as well.
Delivery outside, 1-2. Daly, junior age, looks like he could be a pretty good power right winger somewhere.
Probably played hockey at some point, that's for sure.
Daly swings on, and that one off the
going
roof.
In the parking lot. Up and over. Today we don't want to tally how many buses get hit, but we may have to.
Just don't break the window. Don't break the window.
Yeah, exactly.
Little ding, you can buff that out.
Yep. The windows, not so much.
No, that's a much different proposition. Daly again rockets one high. It's into left field. Wind pushing it towards the line, and that one will be brought down 2 away as Phelan is under it.
That'll bring up the second baseman, Alex Horbetz, another junior call-up for the Cardinals. I believe he had a couple of hits in Tuesday's contest in Welland.
See if he can generate something here in the bottom of the second. Flares one on the ground. A little bit of a funky hop off the infield grass. Just in time.
He's definitely got some good wheels down there.
Slick play by Hunt to be able to transition that one. He had to move off his line, Neil, secure the ball, and then get it quick on to first base to Grayson Barrett. Managed to do it all in one motion, and that is why the bottom of 2 comes to an end. Real nice hand shown by the Welland infielder. So we come to the close of 2 innings. Jackfish will be back to the plate, trailing by 2. Hey, Bernie R. Bird is back, and we'll be back with you right after this. Hamilton Cardinals IBL baseball here on Cable 14. Cards 2-0 lead opening the top of 3. Colby Ring not going anywhere, Neil. He stays on to face Tyler Dupuis.
Yeah, Ringer's probably going to stay here, probably for the third inning for sure. Doesn't look like there's some tossing or anything. There is some stretching going down in the Cardinals bullpen, but it looks like Colby Ring is going to definitely get the third inning, maybe in the fourth here. Tyler Dupuis was 0 for 1 in the contest. He grounded out to Duncan to start the ball game.
That's how you can tell baseball season is back, when you and I are squinting down the left field line going, who's that stretching?
Yeah, exactly. Either binoculars or getting a webcam or something down there, just our personal camera, just so we have, I don't know, maybe a nanny cam or something down the line so we can figure out who's pitching.
Dupuis airborne, and that one is hanging up there like a punt. Duncan way back off shortstop, and he'll have it down, 1 away.
Duncan battles the sun, makes the catch. F6 goes to put out for the first out of the third inning. Steven Moretto will be the batter now. 0 for 1 in the contest. He popped up to the second baseman his first time up.
I have legitimately seen punts that didn't hang for as long as Tyler Dupuis just sent that baseball.
And the ball seems to hang really long time in this ballpark statistically.
Well, that one not hanging as much. Moretto driving it into left center on the run. Nicholson, he nearly came up with that.
Nicholson almost got to that one, and Moretto took a second look, and now he's doing a little dance, a little shimmy out at second base.
Steven Moretto obviously feeling it.
Going the scorebook is a double.
And Colby Ring, I'm not sure if Colby Ring was so happy about the dance there.
No, I don't think so.
He had a quick look back, and there was a brief conversation.
Duncan's even having a conversation. What was the dance for?
It's a Thursday morning preseason game. Can we bring it down a notch?
Yeah. We haven't had our second cup of coffee yet. Come on.
Well, that's a good point. I might. We don't have time in between innings to make that run.
No, we don't.
I'm thinking thermoses.
Yeah,
big
thermoses or,
Big thermoses.
Yeah.
Although there's some fans at home going, do not give him coffee. Do not give him coffee.
Have I been warned, though, officially?
Do I sound like I need more coffee?
He needs more coffee!
That's Mateo Porcelato, who had a single earlier on, is the man up to face Colby Ring.
All right, only took us 3 innings to break each other up. There
We're back.
Go.
We're back.
We're back.
Feels like we never left.
Exactly.
Ring's going to wind and fire. And
it goes around on that pitch. Yes.
Woo! Check swing. It was close.
Porcelato did have a single in the first inning.
Did they call him around there? I think they've got it up to 3-0.
I thought he went. I thought he pointed at like it was a strike, but I guess we're wrong. Unless he was looking down the first for the appeal and realized there's nobody down at first.
I think that might have been what.
No, that must have been 3. Now it's 3-1.
Okay, there was confusion.
Yep.
We've sorted it out. You and I confused? Never.
Never.
So count listed at 2-2. And no, that wasn't right either.
No, that wasn't right either. Now it's 3-2.
It is full.
It is full now.
Now we know. We need a more demonstrative signal from the umpire. As Ring will look in. Man on second, so Porcelato an opportunity here to drive a run, and instead he'll happily take the walk and now make it 1-2 with 1 away.
It's spring training even for the umpires. Trevor Stoico trying his best behind the plate to keep everything running smoothly.
Well, and just the 2 umpires as well, so I think you're right, Neil. I think that's where the confusion came in, is Trevor Stoico looked up as if he was going to appeal.
Yeah, and then I realized there's nobody standing at first.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, I guess I got to make that call myself.
I'm not sure what the rule is there. If he goes to appeal and there's no umpire over at first, how does he?
I'm not sure either. I'll have to look that one up now.
Ring delivering to Hunt. And again, it is that distinct batting stance. It's almost an Ichiro type of batting stance for Hunt.
Yep.
The way he stands, Neil, I'm just not sure how he gets around on the ball as fast as he does. He's got the bat kind of behind him and back. Yeah, foul
Fouls
tip.
that one off then. And it's probably something he ended up doing in his youth, and he just stuck with it because it worked for him.
I mean, that takes a lot of dexterity to be able to make that batting stance work, and he does. So you see him get set, and then he'll get down into the crouch.
Yep.
And yeah, he's got that bat kind of behind him.
It's like, you can't get it past me now.
Ring trying to work inside. And that'll run down and in. Brendan downstairs saying Kenny Dykstra.
That too. Or Lenny Dykstra, yeah.
Correct. Brendan's steering me wrong.
It's spring training for Brendan too.
That's
okay.
Right. As this one's going to run foul.
The count will remain 2-2, we think.
We're pretty sure. That might be what Ethan Hunt is asking. 2-2, you're sure?
Yep.
It's definitely 2-2.
Yep.
Okay.
Trevor Stoichel with the same hand motions there, so yes, everybody's on the same page now. We're okay.
Everybody knows. Bit of a spot here for Colby Ring. 2 on, 1 away. Hunt followed by Barrett. As Ring winds and delivers, and that one runs outside. Hunt able to hold up. Looked like he was going to commit to a swing there and was able to put the brakes on himself as he leaned forward. 3-2, so count runs full again. And Luis Bernardo giving a signal to the defense. Got to think ideal spot here, Neil, is ball on the ground.
Yep.
At one of the infielders, double up, get out. For the Jackfish, find a hole, any hole, or take a walk.
Exactly.
Ring delivers. Hunt skies. It's twisting on towards the seats, and it'll twist away.
And somebody's going to go chasing for it on her souvenir.
There could be a pileup.
Oh, yeah, it looks like about 50 kids just went scrambling for it, so I guess it's the first one over the fence.
Yeah, I don't even think the teachers want any part of that one.
No, they're just like, can you guys just sit down and let the ball go by itself?
Look
don't
like,
have to fill out accident reports.
Looked like a fumble at the line of scrimmage.
Yep. They're a little too young for rugby, so they don't know what that's all about either. So.
Another fun. Actually, the other night I was watching Aussie Rules football. Whoa. Ring delivers outside, and Hunt, well, gets part of what he wanted. Walk loads the bases with 1 away for Barrett.
Grayson Barrett, who walked his first time up, Grant, was recorded out 4-6 on the fielder's choice.
I was watching Sydney and Collingwood. High kick. Player for Collingwood going up to get the ball and absolutely knees the guy from Sydney right in the nose.
Ouch.
His nose is folded. He went over to the bench. They stuffed him. He comes right back onto the field. These guys are just built different.
Oh, they're totally built differently than what you and I would be. I'd be like going, did I lose all my chiclets in the same place? Like, is it still attached?
And every one of them, they're all built like Tyler Duncan.
Yeah.
Every one of them. Not a sport for, 5'9", I don't think.
No.
Now to play the first baseman, number 24, Grayson.
I was so glad baseball and rugby had the same sports season in high school. I was just like, yeah, because the rugby coach kept eyeing me up. I'm like, no. I'm a baseball guy. Don't forget that. Forget it. Sorry, Mr. Lucas, I'm not playing rugby.
Not going to happen. As Ring delivers. I don't remember us having rugby at Delta.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Well, in Guelph, rugby is one of the bigger sports in the spring because we don't have springs football, so
yeah,
all the football guys
did.
and everything else, yeah.
Yeah. So
all the football guys would play rugby, and if you looked a certain height and a certain weight and everything else, you should try rugby. No.
I'd really rather not. Wind and deliver, and that one skied up and way out of here by Barrett.
But then my younger brother, who looked like a toothpick, played rugby, so go figure.
Winger?
I don't know. I didn't understand what position and everything. I just remember seeing his rugby jersey in the watch a couple times going, well, he actually got dirty, so that's good. He actually got to play.
Get the ball and run really fast.
Just run as fast as you can in that direction and keep going. They'll eventually stop you.
Yeah, keep going until somebody blows a whistle or something gets in your way.
Yeah.
As that time they'll say Barrett won a round, and that'll run to 1 and 2. Yeah, never really had the option to play any sort of rugby. It wasn't at any of my schools. Briefly tried football. That didn't last long because that overlapped with roller hockey in the spring. Yep. As Ring delivers, and he'll get Barrett swinging through it, 2 away. Bases loaded. That's a big out for Colby Ring.
Huge out for Ring, his second punch out of the contest. Now it's 2 away and bases loaded. Masuki Fukuda will be the catcher. Will be the batter now. He reached up hard in the second inning on a fielder's choice.
So if this is indeed what you and I were speculating about, and perhaps a bit of a tryout spot for Matsuki Fukuda, this could be a big way to endear himself to his Jackfish teammates.
No question it could be.
Ring delivers. And we could be incorrect on that, and it just hasn't been announced yet that he's signed, but I was checking in between innings. I have not seen anything official to that regard.
Let me go check the old transaction page, because sometimes the transaction page is updated before the... no, he's not on the roster yet anyways. The last 2 signings the Jackfish made were Caleb Feuderstake and Will Jackman, so... No, he's not on the roster yet. So this probably is a tryout.
Jackfish do seem to enjoy having a plethora of catchers to be able to work with that can also be utilized in other positions. I could be wrong, but I did not see Carlos Martinez's name yet.
Well, Martinez, unfortunately, is not with the team this year. It's a big loss, but again, it happens. Guys of that caliber and everything else. It's the game-winning home run in the deciding game. Or sorry, that was in Game 3 that saved the Jackfish season, or actually turned the tide of that series.
Did it ever?
They easily could have been going down 3-1 coming back home, but instead it was a 2-2 coming back into Welland, and we all know what happened after that.
Yeah, it looked like the Jackfish were in big trouble in that championship series and battled their way right back out of it. They had to earn it, Neil, and they certainly did.
No question, they did earn it.
As Ring will deliver 3-1, and it'll walk home a run. So the Jackfish cut the Cardinal lead in half as walks to Porcelato, Hunt, and Fukuda working around the strikeout of Barrett. And that actually scored Moretto, who had been on the double.
Porcelato moves to third, Hunt to second. Fukuda now at first. Bases still loaded, still 2 away for Nolan Phelan, the left fielder.
Phelan with the opportunity to do a little bit more damage.
Had a single his last time up. If you're Colby Ring, you're just trying to get him to hit a ground ball at somebody here and get out of this inning.
Yeah, it makes that strikeout of Barrett look huge right now, because instead of trying to force a double play if there's a ball on the ground, it's just to any base would record that out, and it is on the ground. Duncan, had that one slide through. Looked like he was going to come up with it, and the Jackfish are going to take the lead as Porcelato and Hunt will come around to score. And then an out on an advance.
So give Phelan the single, 2 RBIs. Fukuda is recorded on as the third out. I believe that went 7-6 to 4. For out number 3.
That one was one of the wackier plays that we've seen, Neil.
It definitely was, but it's good that the Cardinals were on the ball, as they say, as far as the cutoffs, and able to double somebody off, going back a little bit too overstretched, overextending himself, rounding the base at second base.
So the Cardinals will look to regroup, down a run, and will have their home half right up next. IBL Hamilton Cardinals baseball on Cable 14. Welcome back to Hamilton Cardinals IBL baseball here on Cable 14. Preseason action, school day game with the Cardinals trailing the Jackfish by a 3-2 score. Neil, all 3 runs for the Jackfish in the top of this third inning, and now it's former Jackfish star Brandon Nicholson at bat.
Nicholson walked in the first inning, stole second base, came home on the home run by Tyler Duncan. Give the Cardinals an early lead in the first inning.
And Martin will deliver, and Nicholson's going to lace this one into left field. That'll stay fair, running back to the fence, and Nicholson's on his horse. Round first, and it'll be a stand-up double as Brandon Nicholson doing what he does oh so very well, getting on base.
Bale in left field just looked up, saw where Nicholson was, and didn't even think about throwing to second base. Threw it directly at the third baseman.
Cam Gravel struck out his first time up, but now finds himself runner in scoring position.
Looked like a belt-high fastball. Nicholson was able to get the green light on and just absolutely extend the bat on it.
And he's on his way to third, and Gravel pops this one into left, and just like that, the Cardinals will tie the game as Cam Gravel has a 1 RBI single.
Gravel brings home Nicholson from second, who was running on the plate. Not even wasting any time whatsoever there.
No, first pitch, gone. And that'll bring Tyler Duncan up, the 2-run home run in the bottom of the first.
If you're the Jackfish, you're just hoping Duncan sees more than one pitch this time.
1 pitch, 1 home run. Well, he's definitely going to see more than 1 pitch this time. That was a real nice one as well, being delivered in by Evan Martin. Cam Gravel check back to first. So Gravel, who stepped in as the third baseman for the game today, coming through in a big spot. Nodding this game right back up, and Duncan watched that one in high.
You see a great shot of the kids with the signs out there. So great to see this whole stadium fill.
They're making some new fans today.
That's for sure.
Duncan hammers this one, and that one well foul on the left side.
Well, there was activity in the bullpen for the Cardinals, but it looks like whoever was warming up either went to the bench and ready to go in for the fourth, or Colby Ring might be going out for the fourth. Not sure.
I could be incorrect, but I thought it was Drew Mainprize who was the last man warming. Gravel on his way for second. He'll slide in, and he's got the base.
Give Gravel the stolen base. Throw a little bit off the line there. Pulled the shortstop off to the wrong side of the base. Now 1-2 count on Duncan, who's got another runner in scoring position and an RBI opportunity for the reigning MVP.
So an RBI single and a stolen base in this sequence for Cam Gravel. And that one just outside.
Duncan having a look back at the pitch and looking at Trevor Stoico, the plate umpire, to make sure he was on the same page there.
Martin will look to deliver. Duncan chops it on the ground, so Gravel's going to advance to third. Can Duncan beat it out to first? Not quite.
Duncan retired 4-3, and a great play by Ethan Hunt. Going to bring up Tanner Rempel with a runner now standing 90 feet away at third base. Rempel struck out his first time up in the first. Francisco Jimenez got roughed up for a pair of walks in his debut here. Of course, the home run to Duncan, but then struck out the other three batters he faced in the first inning. Evan Morton took over in the second inning. Now we got a mound visit and a conversation underway. How many station managers go run the camera down to third base?
Not many.
John Jose on top of everything here.
That would be the one.
Yeah. I almost want to put get him with a watch or something to see how many steps he does in a day in a ball game.
I don't know that we can count that high.
No.
At the Allen Cup, he was all over the place with a camera. As Tanner Rempel flares this one into left, falling quickly, but not quick enough. And, well, that should retire the side.
No, that's only 2 out.
No, you're correct. You're correct.
Only 2. It's the second out of the inning.
Yep.
Rempel retired on the F7. And Dennis DeBanning will get a chance to bat. He walked his first time up. Advanced to second on the E throw and an advance to third on the balk.
I had prematurely crossed something out on my score sheet and got myself confused. Not the first time I've ever done that.
Nope.
As DeBanning sees that one running inside. So Rempel's flare didn't fall far enough away for Gravel to be able to run home.
Nope. Especially on a ball hit in the left field, it's almost got to be at the fence almost for enough to put the left fielder off balance so you can actually come home. Whereas in center field or right field, you got a better chance of tagging up on pretty much any fly ball out there.
Yeah, no interest in challenging the arm either. And DeBanning just looked at that curveball that started way out and was able to bend back in before it caught the Cardinals right fielder.
There is activity once again in the Jackfish bullpen. Somebody is throwing to it. Our guys doing some armband work.
And DeBanning's going to earn himself a walk here. So it'll be runners on first and third as Josh Williams will swagger his way up.
Williams struck out in the first inning to end the first inning. He'll come to bat with runners on the corners and 2 away.
And Williams is just a mountain of a man.
Toronto, Ontario native with the Arkansas Pine Bluff University.
And he was brought to the Cardinals to be a big piece of this lineup. And when you can work that lineup around, you'll see you've got Nicholson and Gravel in front of Duncan, then come Rempel, DeBanning, Williams, and then Luis Bernardo.
Yeah.
That's frightening, although Williams falling behind 0-2.
Of course, for the batters and everything else, it's a big adjustment. You can do all the cage work you want in a cage, but it's a totally different ball game once you see live pitching on a field.
And DeBanning will be off for second base.
Likely be scored defensive indifference because nobody even batted an eye as DeBanning took second. But now the Jackfish will have to go across the diamond to get the out now.
Pitch outside, 2-2. As Williams battling his way out of a 0-2 hole. Delivered, and he'll chop that one back foul. Williams a lot like Duncan in that if he flicks his wrist, the ball could be a couple of towns over.
Exactly. Hey, honey, who's out in the garden? We got a baseball out here. Where'd that come from?
There's some houses just on the outside here that, as Williams will swing through that one, Martin gets him on a breaking ball, and that will close the threat. But the Cardinals bring one across on a Gravel RBI single, and it's 3-3 through 3, top of the 4 when we return to Hamilton Cardinals IBL Baseball on Cable 14. It's Hamilton Cardinals IBL Baseball preseason action here on Cable 14. And Neil Drew Main Prize will take the hill for the Cardinals. We saw him in a bit of action last season, and Main Prize looks like he's hit the gym over the offseason.
Definitely hit the gym a little bit. Of course, I think he was let go, and then he went to the Guelph Royals last year, finished up the season there.
Yep.
Got his release again and came back home. Of course, he was at the University of Guelph for many years. He graduated at Griffin. Was part of their championship aspirations with the OUA baseball. Of course, the Griffins falling short 2 years ago.
Yeah, he was part of that flurry of moves that General Manager George Halim referenced earlier on to us right at the deadline, where they brought in a load of players. And unfortunately, the ripple effect of that is a few had to
go at the door, unfortunately. And it's just you want to bring back character guys that are, local to the team and everything else, and that's why Drew Main Prize is back out here.
And Main Prize got a chance to get some innings in Guelph, probably a bigger chance in Guelph than he would have had down the stretch with the Cardinals.
Yeah. Greg Marco, the designated hitter who struck out his first time up, will be the batter here. First batter to face Main Prize here in the top of the 4th inning.
Again, today's game only 7, so each of these innings really mattering, more so than usual.
I don't think there's any plans to go extra innings either, because I think the guys are just, probably told their pitching guys, hey, you're getting the 6th inning or whatever else. Don't expect to extend past that.
Got Marco swinging through that, did Main Prize. Yeah, from what I believe, I think you can end in a tie in preseason.
Which is perfectly okay for everybody around the ballpark, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to extend preseason games. As Marco taps that one on the ground. Scoop by Duncan out of short. And Rempel has it at first base. Marco away, 6-3.
Going to bring up Ethan Pasco, the center fielder. He flew out to left field in the 2nd inning.
What have you thought so far of Tyler Duncan over at shortstop there, Neil?
He's definitely got some wheels. I know he'd actually been a middle infielder growing up through the system and everything else. I think even when he was with the national junior team, I think they had him listed as an infielder at one point.
He certainly looks like he's played the position previously. I've just always thought for a guy that size, I mean, Duncan goes 6'2", 6'3".
Yep.
It's got to be a little bit more difficult. But he appears to be getting that transition down and up pretty quick.
Yep. Well, they have him listed as 6'3", so you're not far off at all.
Just know, having met him a couple of times last season, it's not just what he looks like on TV. You got to look up.
Yep.
And a little bit of an indecisive swing there from Pasco, as Main Prize will get him swinging for his first strikeout.
2 away now, back to the top of the Welland order here for Tyler Duthie, who's 0 for 2 in the contest, and F6 and a ground out to Duncan to start the ball game.
Main Prize look like he have a new level of confidence to you?
I think he does, and of course, even just working with Luis Bernardo, probably throwing a lot of bullpens to him in the offseason too. That they're pretty much on the same page now. Bernardo definitely feeling at home out here.
Just felt like at times last season when we'd see Main Prize, things could spiral a little bit on him, which is not unusual for young pitchers.
Yep.
And seeing him so far today, granted through 2 batters, but just calm, cool, collected. And the other thing with Main Prize is he likes to work quick.
Yep. Well, exactly. Like, I think you'll see him grab the ball back here and probably just go take his little walk back to the rubber and go right on the mound looking for the sign from Bernardo. Of course, the Intercounty does not have the luxury of pitch comms yet, but maybe sometime down the road, but it is expense.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we eventually get there as Dupuis sends this one sky high into left field. Coming on for it and bringing it in, and that will be 3 down as Daly right underneath. And Drew Main Prize with a really strong inning of work there, Neil.
Well, that will definitely boost his confidence as we go into the regular season next week. He's able to, go up there against the 8-9-1 of the Jackfish order. Mind you, it won't be the exact order you're going to face in a game situation, but it's still 3 guys that have got some experience in this league in Pasco, Marco, and Dupuis, and they got handled them pretty well.
Yeah, look confident, look collected, look ready to go, although there still is more preseason action to come. Speaking of which, we'll have the bottom of 4. Luis Bernardo leads it off when we return on Cable 14. It's Hamilton Cardinals IBL Baseball on Cable 14, 3-3 to the bottom of the 4th inning. And it is another new face on the mound for the Welland Jackfish. And, Neil, we believe that it is Jack Kemp.
Jack Kemp, that's okay.
That's who was announced in the building.
All right, perfect. Jack Kemp, of course, the former Brock Badger. You see a lot of Badgers, of course, making the trek into Welland now. Danny Howard, of course, the Brock pitcher as well.
Bernardo, first pitch on the ground is short. Dupuis will pop up, and 1 away.
Bernardo retired 6-3 for out number 1.
So, Neil, what you and I are dealing with so far today is that the numbers that have been posted on the official rosters may not be the numbers the players are wearing today.
Exactly. It might have just been, hey, go grab a jersey today. You know, you're number 44 today. So
we're
ignore what's on Point Street and just hope for the best.
We're relying on the guys behind us, and Nate, who does a brilliant job on stats in the building, to keep us updated on who's actually in which jersey today.
Yep.
Feels like a game show.
It does.
Ball delivered high.
Who's wearing that number today?
Jack Kemp, we believe, is 44. So for Welland fans, you may not have the same number as when you begin the regular season.
Yep. Make sure you buy that program, which I'm sure will be on sale at the concession stand.
I'm certain it will be.
Yep.
What an operation they've got in Welland.
Yep.
And really, the Jackfish have gone such a long way, Neil, in beginning this push to bring the IBL to a new level.
Oh, no question they have been.
Delivery from Kemp gets Daly swinging through it, 2-2.
Daly, of course, 0 for 1 in the contest. He flew it to left field in the second inning.
You know, it was needed. The IBL needed a lift. It needed a boost. And when the Jackfish arrived, and they took things from everywhere, from minor league baseball, from the Savannah Bananas, from everything that they could find, from sports outside of baseball, to bring entertainment level to their games at the Pond. And it got everybody's attention around the IBL as Daly, I believe, got plunked there on the elbow.
Elbow or it might have just been the jersey, but it looks like it might have been the elbow patties. He's readjusting everything and taking it off as he works down the first.
So,
but you think of that, 5 years ago, they were playing in Burlington. They ran into problems where they couldn't do what they wanted to do at that park.
Yep.
So that is why they had to leave. And then it was just like, well, where were we going to go? They looked at a couple other areas, and then when they settled on Welland, it was like, okay, now we have the venue. We have some seating and everything else, but we don't have everything we wanted. So the last 5 years, and that's a huge testament to the Ryan Harrisons and his leadership group down there that have just worked hard with the city of Welland and everything else to build that stadium back up to where it is right now. And now it's definitely one of the shining diamonds in the league. That's for sure.
100%. And a community in Welland that it felt like needed something of their own to really get behind. The Niagara Ice Dogs are there, but it's St. Catharines. It's not Welland.
Exactly. And I think that's why they do so well, is because everybody that gets behind us say, hey, this is our team. This is our team. This is a team that wears the Welland team.
They've had the Welland Canadians Junior B team there for years.
Yep.
But Junior B hockey, as great as it is, and as much fan support as the Wellands and the Caledonias and the Hamiltons and the Fort Eries and the Falcons and St. Catharines get, it does feel like there's a ceiling to that, where with the Jackfish it felt like it was a step up and a step in the right direction, and a summer sport where, again, they really didn't have anything of their own.
Exactly.
There's more going on St. Catharines' way, but Welland needed something that could be theirs.
Yep.
And boy, did they embrace it.
Well, they embraced even the April Fool's Day joke last year.
Yeah, that was great.
And now it's got its own set of merchandise.
Yeah,
and it sells like hotcakes.
Ryan Harrison, who I know from wearing the stripes in the Ontario Hockey League.
Yeah.
That was a stroke of genius on his part.
Oh, exactly. It's just
or whoever in his group came up with it.
Yeah. It's like you go to various places and you see the hat, and it's just like, yeah, no, you must be from Welland or something, because it's just like it stands out.
Orbit swings through, and he'll go down on the strikeout. That'll bring Nicholson back up to the plate. 2 away with Daly over at first.
Yep. Nicholson 1 for 1, but he's reached base twice, scored twice, and has a stolen base. Not a bad day for Brandon Nicholson against his former teammates. Man, we'd love to get this guy hot to start the season.
I think of it too, Neil, and that even in the city of Welland, it's a big, small community, essentially.
Yep.
It's a sizable spot. They've got Niagara College and their athletics as well, and I don't want to discount that, but it says Niagara on it. It doesn't say Welland.
Exactly.
They needed something that said Welland.
Yep.
I think it makes a big difference having the name of the city on it instead of just the region.
Yeah.
For them to embrace it there. Now, what would be fun is if you could expand in the IBL again, and Chatham-Kent joining us this season, but if you could get another team in that Niagara area, whether it's St. Catharines or Fort Erie, is Daly on his way to second.
He's going to steal the base with ease.
And you could set up a Niagara rivalry and then this rivalry, and
Yep.
Hamilton's got Brantford right there, and Brantford has London, and London has Chatham-Kent. Yep. You know, Toronto and Barrie. There's so many things that can really make an impact.
Yep. We look at Welland season ticket sales. You look at even Chatham-Kent. They sold out their season tickets, their first season.
They want it there.
Yep.
Nicholson taps this one on the ground. He's on the run to first, but a nice charge. And putting him away will be Moretto, who hopped right onto it. And we will head to the top of 5, tied at 3 on Cable 14. Back here on Cable 14 as the Welland Jackfish and Hamilton Cardinals all tied up at 3. And I believe that we have our answer on the Welland Jackfish and that it was purposely done.
Yeah.
And I think it was a stroke of genius to do it that way.
I think it was too. I remember going to a couple of games when the Brock Badgers weren't able to play at Community Stadium. They had to play at a well night, and it's like, man, I just remember sitting with Dave Hodge, no less.
Wow.
Because Dennis Hodge was playing for the Griffins at the time. I was saying to him, man, this place needs a baseball stadium. Like an actual baseball stadium and everything else. It needs a baseball team. Back then, it was just like, lo and behold, now look at what they've done down there.
Unbelievable. I enjoy getting a chance to watch games from Welland because of that, what they've done and what they put into it. And Eric Spearin has said that it was an influence on him and what he's done with the Hamilton Cardinals.
Well, you can't not come into this league and not expect to, look around at what everybody else is doing in the league and says, okay, what works? What can we adapt to here?
Yep.
What can we do in this area? And then, of course, as that mystery test message just came through, and I'm going to thank you, Mr. McKay, for that message.
Wait, I thought it was a mystery.
Sorry.
That's Moretto.
I just exposed my source. Dang it. It's going to cost me a few beers.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Tremaine Price continuing on here in the 5th.
I could just see Jenny rolling her eyes when he's over from here now.
Uh-oh. Am I getting you in trouble again?
No, we're fine.
Okay, all right. I got all season to do that, so,
It'll happen. Moretto is 1 for 2 in the contest. A run scored and a double in the third inning.
You know what will happen is my parents still, and I thank them so much for this, they watch every game that I do.
Yeah.
But we have a family group chat with my parents, my brother, and my wife. And we'll say things on the air, and my parents will laugh about it, and then they will text my wife separate of the group chat, and then I'll get home and hear, "What did you say tonight?"
What? It wasn't me. It was the other guy.
Oh,
It was the
boy.
one-armed man.
Oh, you heard about that, did you? Who
Yeah.
said that, Dad?
Yeah.
Main Prize working on 2-2 against Moretto. And this will give Main Prize an idea of what he'll deal with in the meat of the order against the Jackfish this season. He gets Moretto to put it on the ground. Gravel over to Rempel at first. The stretch. He got him.
All right, so the disclosure is going to cost me exactly 3 beers.
Well, that's not so bad.
That's not so bad.
That's all right. I like how that's an exact, too.
Yeah, it's exact.
That's a good way to do it.
Yep.
There's no mystery. You know what you're getting into before you have to do it.
Yep.
I say have to. Come on. Who are we kidding? It's Mateo Porcelato.
By that point in the season, it's going to be, oh, it's only 3 beers? Come on.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Main Prize winds and delivers, and okay, got that one just on the outside. My eye might have been fooled a little bit by a sweep at the end. It finished off the plate. Main Prize delivers, and well, I'll admit, Neil, I'm a little confused there because I thought that one was more of a strike than
I
the
think
previous pitch.
That might have been a makeup call.
Okay.
That would have been. I missed that first one, so I owe you one.
Okay. So Porcelato 1-1. Main Prize delivers, and was that not the same pitch?
It probably was, but Trevor Stoico, like we said, it's spring training for umpires.
Gave him one back. Gave him one back.
him one back,
Now I'm back into it.
It's
Okay.
the Uno reverse card being played right now.
That's how I felt about Game 2 last night. But
Yeah.
anyway, as Main Prize will deliver, Porcelato puts a jolt in it, high into the air into right field. Nicholson calls, and he's underneath it, and that'll be 2 away.
Nicholson stays with it, and the wind gusted up there just at the most inopportune time. If you're Mateo Porcelato, pushed it back in.
Feels like the wind has changed direction on us a little bit. It was sort of blowing towards left. Now it's kind of coming in.
Yeah, from the right field. Now it's like, okay, it just can't make up its mind. And Ethan Hunt will be the batter. He's 0 for 1. He did have a walk. He popped up the catcher in the first inning.
Well, the weather forecast today was a little bit misleading. At one point it said rain.
Yep.
Then it said overcast. Then it said sunny but a 60% chance of 0.1 millimeters of rain. I'm not sure what that means, as Duncan has Hunt on the ground. Rempel over, makes the tag after it pulled him off the bag. 3 away. And so far, Neil, and knock on wood, as we're going to head to the bottom of the 5th, things have held out for us.
It definitely has. You and I have gone through a couple of rain delays last year, and just games we thought for sure got it washed out, but somehow Mother Nature decided to cooperate just in this ballpark alone. Everybody else around us got rained out.
I was going to say, yeah, you and I last season, we had a couple of times where it looked for sure like we were SOL.
Exactly.
And somehow the game here happened in a bowl.
Yeah.
And they got rain down the mountain, they got rain east, they got rain west, and we were sitting in sunshine with a nice evening sky over us and got ball games in that had no business being played.
Well, even look at the last game of the year when Barrie eliminated us. It was just like we got the game done, and like literally 10 minutes later, it poured.
While we were still getting out to our cars,
Yep.
just gone. We will take a quick break and step aside. Bottom of 5 on its way. Cardinals and Jackfish knotted up at 3 on Cable 14. Welcome back, Bernie Arbor Stadium, bottom of the 5th inning. Hamilton Cardinals, Welland Jackfish, IBL Baseball on Cable 14. We're all knotted up at 3. Dan Howitt taking the hill for the Jackfish in the 5th. And Neil, once we got to 3-3, it seems like these two teams are playing a little cat and mouse with one another.
Definitely playing cat and mouse, and Dan Howard, of course, the Brock Badger and a former Brantford Red Sox, now down the road here in Welland, which makes a lot more sense for him since he does go to Brock and everything else.
Yeah, that'll make things a lot more local. That is not a far trip from the campus of Brock University to the pond in Welland.
Oh, he's a great young man. I've got an opportunity to talk to him a few times, too, and it's just like great to see him advancing his career here in the IBL, too. Got to see him pitch many, many times for Brock over the years. He had, I want to say, a redemption moment last year against the Griffins in the fall. The year before, he goes, of course, unfortunately, was the victim of the Griffins, as this one is belted to center field.
And underneath it, and putting it away in center that time is Pasco. One away.
And Tyler Duncan will get a chance to face Danny Howitt now.
Neil, you would know this better than I. OUA baseball, I've talked about OUA and U Sports hockey before,
yep.
But OUA baseball's got to be one of the hidden gems of OUA sport.
It is, and I got involved with University baseball back in, that was 1996. When I got involved, I actually got involved with the University Guelph team. And then it was just like, well, they didn't have anybody doing stats. They didn't have anybody doing promotions and everything else. That's actually how I met Jason McKay. He started the University of Carleton baseball program.
Oh, okay.
He put money on, he used his OSAT money to fund that program the first little bit to get things off the ground.
Talk about putting yourself out on a
Yep.
limb.
And now I watched the program go from, it was a club sport where guys were paying $500-600 just to play for an extra couple months. Now it's to like in some places it's a full varsity sport. Other places it's still considered a club. Some things like the University of Guelph, I think it's called what they call a Tier 2 sport. So they do have some funding, but guys are still on the hook to play some ball.
Pasco's been busy to open up the bottom of 5. 2 flies to him. And, I mean, that really is so much of the story of like what we see here in a working man's league in the IBL. What we saw 2 weeks ago in the Allen Cup. The story we're hearing with the Carleton baseball program and how these things come together.
Yep.
And how they stay together. And it sometimes takes somebody going out on a limb to make it work. It shouldn't, but it does at times.
It does, exactly. Well, Brock, you always benefited. Brock was always, I guess, the gold standard in my mind as far as university baseball goes. But Brock would benefit the fact that Brock doesn't have a football team. So they don't have that big draw in the fall. Of course, Brock's basketball team was always good. Their hockey team was, I want to say, decent when I was going through and everything else because I was working with the Griffins. And we did win in '97. We won the CIAU championship. But it was just like, it was great to see the crowds and everything else.
Tanner Rempel sending this one into center field, and Pasco again on his horse. Pasco makes all 3 outs in the inning in center field, and that will take us through 5 on our way to the top of 6. We're in the home stretch of this one, still 3-3. You're watching Hamilton Cardinals IBL Baseball on Cable 14. IBL baseball here on Cable 14 as the Cardinals and the Jackfish tied up at 3. We begin the top of the 6th inning, and Nick Davies takes a turn on the hill. We saw a bit of Nick last season, especially early in the season for the Cardinals. A young pitcher with electric stuff and a bright future. It just seemed like at times last season control would get away from him a little bit. If he's able to rein that in, he has a bright future ahead.
Of course, the Ancaster native looking to make a name for himself in his second go-around with the Cardinals. Of course, he finished up last year with the Red Sox.
And that's a strikeout as he gets Barrett looking at it. And that's what I was referencing right off the top. There was no doubt when we saw him last year, his stuff is electric.
Definitely is. Now, if you can just, I got one of these guys that just needs to get that boost of confidence out there and say, hey, you belong in this league. You can handle yourself out here.
And Davies might have had a bit of a tough go in that he was pressed into service as a starting pitcher, and as a young pitcher, you wonder if his best spot might be coming out of the bullpen for an inning or two at a time to really get himself planted in the IBL before transitioning back into a starting role.
I definitely think so. That one just misses outside, and the count is 2-0.
Of course, then again, nothing wrong with a young starting rotation, as somehow my beloved Boston Red Sox have the lowest starting rotation ERA in the majors.
Yep.
With a bunch of guys most baseball fans have never heard of.
It's like a scene from Major League. Who the heck are these guys?
Yeah, pretty much. As this ball knocked on into left field by Fukuda, and he'll have a single. I was actually talking to a buddy of mine yesterday that's a pretty good baseball fan that I work with. It's Connor French. Everybody knows who he is. And I'm saying Hauk, Pavetta, the names, and he goes, where did all of these guys come from?
From the rock beside Fenway Park.
Yeah. Whoa.
That one hits him.
Davies ran that one in. And just like that, runners on first and second.
Phelan reaches base for the third time. He did have a pair of singles earlier in the contest.
Didn't have a chance to turn that into a single. And that'll bring Marco up out of the DH spot.
Marco 0 for 2. He struck out and grounded out to shortstop his last time up.
But I think Connor was a little perturbed with me because after the beginning of the season, I said, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of hope for this year. It's a building year for the Red Sox. They're using a lot of young guys. And now he's like, hey, I thought this was supposed to be a building year, fella. There's one at second. Back on to first. Double play. Quick flip. And just like that, Nick Davies into a little bit of danger. Neil, and he works himself right out of it. And that middle infield looking pretty slick.
Yeah, it looks like the guys have been playing together for a lot longer than they have been, that's for sure. A lot of confidence in the middle infield.
All right, we'll march on to the bottom of 6 after this quick break. Dan Howlett will return to the hill for the Jackfish. He'll be tasked with DeBanning, Williams, Bernardo. Bottom of 6 up next on Cable 14.
What the heck?
Hamilton Cardinals IBL Baseball on Cable 14. And Neil, off air, we were just having a brief chat about it, but you got to feel like in the bottom of 6, if the Cardinals are going to put a press on, it's got to start with DeBanning, Williams, and Bernardo.
Exactly. These guys, you got to get these guys going, set the table here for everybody else. But this would probably be the excellent opportunity. You don't want to have to play the home half of the 7th inning, that's for sure.
No action down in the Jackfish bullpen as of right now, so how it looks like he's got a bit of rope here is DeBanning sends this one high, back off first base, and Barrett underneath it, one away. So not the ideal start.
They bring up Josh Williams, who's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts.
Just seems like his timing hasn't quite been there yet.
Yeah.
The trouble for opposing pitchers is when it does
When it
line
does
up.
get there, it's going to be turning some heads, that's for sure.
It's got to be an imposing figure to have to look at from the mound in
Well,
Josh
just
Williams.
If you know anything about his backstory or anything, it's just like, okay, yeah, this guy's here now.
It was Williams hammers this one into right center, and it's going to hold up just enough for Pasco to get underneath it. Flick of the wrist. Didn't even look like he hit it that hard.
No, he just got enough of it and then it just all armed it out of there.
Yeah, that was probably the one, Neil, over the offseason that amongst a number of interesting moves for the Cardinals,
Yep.
when you saw Josh Williams arrive, that was a whoa.
Yeah, that's what I think that was my exact text back to Eric was like, how? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, did not see that one coming at all.
Followed by a quick text to Ruth going, you let him go?
But I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision
No.
as the ball on the ground to third. Bernardo goes out quick, 5-3, and there will be a bottom half of the 7th. We'll have the top with the Jackfish back up to bat on Hamilton Cardinals IBL Baseball right after this. Hamilton Cardinals IBL Baseball on Cable 14. Last inning, 7th inning. Preseason play means we go 7 and Callum Blue. And how about this, Neil? Welcome to the Cardinals. Pasco, Dupuis, Moretto. If anybody gets on, Porcelato and Hunt sitting behind them. Not exactly the easiest task for a young man.
Not exactly the easiest task, especially just for, when you're in your first season in the IBL. Did get an inning a couple of days ago as well against these Jackfish, so he's not going in here completely blind, but the Oakville native and the current Humber College attendee is definitely going to have some work cut out for us in the 7th inning.
Now, one thing that we know about Callum Blue is he can bring it. But a young pitcher, and Neil, as you mentioned to me before we came back from break, from Humber College, so he's played at a great baseball program, baseball factory.
Yep. Of course, they were in the OCAA championships again, and unfortunately, unable to throw in the St. Clair College Saints again, though. But just unfortunately, as Humber continues to look for that championship, that keeps eluding them right now.
St. Clair College Saints.
Yep.
Who let them do that?
Yep.
As Ethan Pasco will step in.
You're going to see a lot of Saints in the Chatham-Kent lineup, that's for sure. Catlin Morin for sure. Maybe a couple other surprises as well.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting eyes on the Barnstormers to see what an exhibition team will look, or an expansion team, will look like this season. Because it feels like they were able to bring in a lot of talent.
They have such a huge drawing in the Windsor-Chatham area that, it's really untapped in this league. So now they've got a gateway to that talent pool.
Well, I guess for the talent in that way, before the Barnstormers, your closest team is London.
London, and most of those guys in that area would always just go play Windsor. They come to. They would never think about playing in the intercounty just because, again, of the travel distance.
Yeah, exactly. As Blue delivers, and that one a little low.
Thought he was going to get the call, and then he's asking Trevor Stoico exactly where it was, and he makes the hand motion and says, yeah, it was a little too low.
Blue will go again, 3-1.
6'4", 190 pounds.
Ball on the ground is second. Quick turn over to Rempel. One away.
Pasco retired 4-3 for out number 1 here in the 7th inning. Again, thanks to all the school kids that were in attendance today. We really hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I hope you tell your friends, tell your parents, you had a great time today. Cardinals and Jackfish putting on a great show on the field.
We heard him yelling and screaming.
Well, of course, at one point during the last inning, I couldn't hear you over top of the screams.
Oh, my goodness. Almost vibrated right out of the booth. The only problem having a chair with wheels. Whoa, that breaking ball got a little bit away from Blue.
Just a bit inside.
A little haywire.
Yeah.
Tyler Dupuis got out of the way in a hurry.
Dupuis 0 for 3 in the contest. Sent a couple balls to Duncan's way and hit one to the left.
Delivered on by Blue.
And he went around on that pitch, says that Trevor Stoico, the plate umpire. Of course, Jeff Rose down the baseline, the other umpires. Thanks to those gentlemen for taking their time out of their day as well to come and do some baseball for us.
I'm a bit surprised we didn't see Jeff Rose behind the plate today. One of the best at calling pitches.
Likely tomorrow, I would think.
Okay.
I would think so, but it's hard to say. Other guys might have Fridays off, but I know Trevor Stoico, he's a radio announcer, actually. He's probably been up since I think he's the morning announcer on one of the stations. I think he works for Grand, if I'm not mistaken.
So he's already ending his workday with this one. And as that one foul tipped, 2-2 the count. Yeah, there was a couple games last year on Friday nights where we saw Jeff Rose get behind the plate, and it's not an easy job, Neil, and we marveled at how he can handle a ball game from behind the plate.
Yep.
And his strike zone is so good.
Yep.
And it is so consistent that pitchers and batters know what he's going to call, what he's not, what you got to protect, what you can let go. It makes a big difference when you've got somebody that skilled behind the plate.
Exactly. And, of course, Trevor Stoico just giving Luis Bernardo a few more minutes to recover after taking that one off, something we're not going to mention.
High pop as underneath it. And 2 away as Horbitz has been busy in this top of 7. And it's not the first time we've seen somebody takes a ball off.
Something down
yeah.
there. Got to make sure Bernardo's all done having kids, though.
Oh, boy.
I know what is he, 36 now?
Is he 36?
He's 36 now. I think he's got a few kids, because I remember the one time I came down to the dugout last year to get a lineup card, he was on the FaceTime to the kids back home.
He has been a world traveler for baseball, as
Yes,
Luis
he is.
Bernardo.
Steven Moretto now the batter. He is 1 for 3 with a run scored, a double in the 3rd inning.
I believe it was in the 2021-22 season in the Nicaraguan Winter League with the Tigers that he had a just ridiculous, like a 362 batting average. Just something absolutely goofy.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to see why. Once he gets on a roll in the IBL, we saw it last year, Neil, there were games where at times he just took over.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I think that was another shot in the arm what the Cardinals needed last year. Is it's like, okay, you guys that are new in this, everything else, we're going to learn to this together, but, hey, I'm going to lead this as much as I can.
Yeah, the importance of a veteran catcher.
You see it you even see it in Kitchener. You see it in Toronto with Justin Mara.
Yes.
And you see Junior Ibarra with the Panthers doing it. And to this time, well, of course, the Jackfish now without Sam Cocker, who announced his retirement via Instagram, no less, earlier this off season.
And that ball in the dirt will be a walk. That was Caden Filardo, who had come in to pinch hit in place of Steven Moretto. So we might, Mateo Porcelato is going to come up. We might have something to look at in terms of defensive alignment for the Jackfish.
But again, it could also just be, remember in exhibition games, they could do free substitution. Just some other guy could take the spot in the lineup and then.
Well, that's what I mean. We may see him right now and somebody completely different take third base. As this ball gets away from Blue, bouncing in, and very quickly, Caden Filardo's over to second base. 2 away. But now Cal and Blue's got to battle through here and try to stop Filardo from going the rest of the way.
I'd love to get a ground ball ender to get out of this one, that's for sure.
The ground ball likely would put a quick end to the threat. Easier said than done with Mateo Porcelato up, however.
That one just misses low again to Porcelato. Count 2-0.
No runs in the game since back in the 3rd inning. Cardinals went up 2 on the Tyler Duncan home run in the 1st, 3 in the top of the 3rd from the Welland Jackfish. Cardinals responded with 1 in the bottom of that inning. And since then, we have seen Kemp, Howitt, Main Prize, Davies, and now Blue all essentially work clean.
Yep, all throwing up goose eggs.
And that one
because we're in Hamilton, maybe we should use the word throwing up donuts.
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 Definitely.
Yeah.
I grew up a 10-minute walk from the original Tim Hortons, if that. I mean, just up and then along over on Ottawa Street. Delivery gets Porcelato swinging, and that'll run the count full. I can remember a lot of nights just a couple of friends come by, go grab donuts and coffee or something. And then for a while we couldn't because they did the renovation to put the museum in.
Well, that would be unfortunate.
But it looks great.
Yeah.
So it all worked out in the end. And a revitalization of Ottawa Street right now down in the East End is, Mateo Porcelato caught staring at it by Blue. He'll end the threat, 3 away. 1 more half inning to go. Bottom of 7. Can the Cardinals do it in dramatic fashion in front of a packed house? We'll find out on Cable 14 right after this. Hamilton Cardinals IBL baseball on Cable 14. One question answered, Neil, as Caden Filardo will stay in at third base. That appears to be a straight switch for Moretto. However, we do have a new pitcher on the hill, Scott Gillespie, taking over.
Scott Gillespie, no stranger to the Intercounty, especially the Jackfish as well.
Now, with this being preseason action, as far as you and I are aware,
Yep.
this is it.
I'm pretty sure this is it. Like the bullpens have both emptied out on both sides. So
Cleared out.
there's nothing left in the cupboards. Mother Huther is going away empty-handed here today.
So it's a tie game, or the Cardinals
Walk
gotta
it off, yeah.
bring one around. And unfortunately, some of the schools is not unusual for school day games,
Yep.
having to exit a little bit early.
Well, of course, because these bus drivers are probably got full scheduled routes to do at 3 o'clock.
That's right. As busing is always the issue, and as mentioned earlier, I've been a part of a few of them with the Bulldogs, and bringing them into First Ontario Center at the time.
Just look out to our right here in the outfield where the track is, and there's a steady convoy of them all rounding up here to just get back in line to cart all the kids out here.
Figure out, how they're going to get all the way back around. So it will likely still see some action as they're lining up here.
Yep.
As Daly will step in to face Gillespie as the first batter.
The lineup card just went flying somewhere too.
Uh-oh. No, I can't find it.
I don't know where it went. There it is.
Hey, one of our cameramen over
Cameraman with the
finding
save.
something. As Gillespie delivers in for strike one. So as Neil mentioned, Daly, Horowitz, and Nicholson. Gravel, if anyone gets on, they'd love to get it around to Duncan.
We're due for a Duncan walk-off.
That'd be fun. Good way to end the first home game of the preseason, but still. And again, that wind keeps on changing, Neil. It's really blowing out again now, kind of swirling at times.
Kind of wishing I brought the sweatshirt out of the car.
Yeah, it got cold in a hurry.
Yeah. I figured, I'll be fine. It's 14, the sun's out. Then the clouds came over, and then the wind just picked up, and it's like, I'm going to have to go find something warm to drink on the way.
Yep. Well, luckily,
on the way over to the hotel.
Luckily, you're in Hamilton, and there's no shortage of Tim Hortons.
Yep.
This one sent right back up the middle. Daly's going to be on, and that'll bring Horowitz up to the plate.
Stepping up to the plate, the second baseman, number 15, Alex Horowitz.
If I'm not mistaken, there's one straight down and to the left.
Yeah, I think we've seen it many times. We're partaking in the Sheridan Hotel tonight. Of course, the Sheridan's now one of the hotel sponsors for the Cardinals as well.
Downtown or up the mountain?
Downtown.
Yeah, okay. Know it well. Worked in the arena for many years, and it's attached essentially to the mall, which is attached to the arena.
Well, at least we got something to do this afternoon if we get bored. Which I don't think we'll get bored. I got lots of other stuff to do. I eat notes for tomorrow.
I got the same thing this afternoon, yeah. Quick drive for me back up 20 Highway and home.
Of course, the Cardinals hosting the Brantford Red Sox tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. You and I are back on the air.
We certainly are. Hope you'll be back with us once again as Gillespie delivers and Horowitz fouls that one back.
Well, we're just looking forward to the night away. And just, I've had a busy stretch of work at the university, and it's been like, okay, I need a day off.
We haven't had that luxury yet, Celine and I, since the birth of our second last September.
Yep.
Actually, not too long after you and I were done doing the games.
Yep.
We snuck them in between after one season and before the other. Is ball on the ground, and Daly's going to hop his way over to second, so the Cardinals now the runner in scoring position.
Now, if you're Horowitz, you just got to find a way to get him to third base here. Or if you want to poke one through, and this ball game.
That would be intriguing here. As Horowitz a chance to play hero. And it's preseason, Neil, and all those things that factor in, but a win against the Jackfish here would be a bit of a building block.
It definitely would be. definitely would be.
I mean, anytime you can get a win over the defending champions, it's important.
It is.
Horvitz fought that one off to stay alive. Confidence can carry you, and we saw that at times last season with the Cardinals when they were feeling good about themselves. They got on that roll early on in the season before things got a little bit sideways on them.
Injuries and some other guys, looking at their opportunities, unfortunately, which, at this level it happens a lot.
Yep. Losing Duncan McLaughlin early on after he got off to such a brilliant start, just kind of threw off the pitch mix.
He lost Clayton Keys as well and some other things. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of adversity last year.
Yeah, the injuries piled up at one point, and
well, even Logan Walters as well. With the wrist injury, had to have surgery in the offseason.
Yeah, no Walters, no Keys, no Rempel at a stretch. Oh, Horvitz gets caught on the strikeout looking. He thought he had the walk, and it'll be one away with Nicholson stepping in.
Nicholson's already got a double and 2 runs scored plus a stolen base.
Well, a double here likely ends the ball game.
I think even a single might end the ball game the way the outfielders are playing here.
And with Daly's speed, he can move.
Yep.
And he is taking a very, very healthy lead off second base. I imagine here, Neil, he's going to have the call to go on just about anything.
Yep.
1-0 to Nicholson. Gillespie with the look. And Nicholson able to hold off. Not sure how he managed to stop the momentum there.
They're saying he went around. The appeal went down to second base.
Oh!
The base umpire, Jeff Rose, said yes, he went around.
Okay, so 1-1.
1-1 is the count now.
Gillespie will deliver. Nicholson chops that one, just got the bottom of it.
Daly was going on the pitch.
Yeah, Daly just wants that opportunity to sneak over to third.
Yep. Keeping
a slight watch on him from second base is Ethan Hunt. Not really keeping him glued.
Yeah, he's just more like putting a hand back there just so he doesn't think he's going to go anywhere. And Hunt's got to cover that side of the field, too. That one sails outside for a ball.
He's got to believe in a spot like this. Nicholson, not 2-2, but
yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't maybe think of a bunt for Nicholson.
Especially with the third baseman having to come in and to cover where Daly is, too. So.
And with Nicholson's speed, he's a guy that could easily take a bunt single. Gillespie delivers that one outside, and it's going to get away from Fakota. That'll bring Daly around to third. Daly started sneaking towards home. He was thinking about it.
He thought about it.
You know, Neil, it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a ball get away from a catcher and somebody come around from second base.
It's happened before, especially in this ballpark.
All it takes is to the backstop and then left or right.
Exactly. Just a little funny kick off the fence here, and
then you're in no man's land. Yeah. So this changes the calculus here.
Yep. I think you almost put Nicholson on in this situation. The infield's got to come right in now, though.
A little bloop from Nicholson ends the ball game, and he'll foul that one back.
Just needs to get it up and over the heads of the infielders.
Yeah, there's a ton of room right now, specifically out to right field, through that gap or over the heads. Something that just catches outfield grass will bring Daly around.
Of course, Daly's got to be reminded, hey, it's got to get through before you go anywhere.
Yep.
The last thing you want is the potential winning run thrown out plate in this situation.
Gillespie delivers. Nicholson, whoa!
Oh, just foul. Just about took out.
Daly had a look at him. He's chuckling about it now. Whoa, boy.
I'm going to take another step outside here.
Nicholson has a smile on his face as well.
Daly's at first, third base, just puffing wind here and trying to make sure. Yeah, there you go.
Woo!
There you go. We're okay.
Oh, boy. That was a hot shot from Nicholson, and they will put him on here as Gillespie misses high and in.
And now you got to be careful if you're the Jackfish here. Do you let Nicholson just take second base, or do you try to play for the double play?
Watch this. Coming right into your living room, Brandon Daly. Starts sneaking down, and then look out!
Sniper!
It does not get closer than that.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, interesting spot here, Neil.
Yep.
Cam Gravel up at the plate. There's one out. Nicholson at first. Do they give Gravel an option to put down a bunt here?
Well, I guess it really depends on how the Jackfish are going to play with Nicholson. Because if Nicholson breaks for second base, then the double play, you kind of right. You got to load the bases. You got to let Tyler, then you let either Gravel swing away. If you let Gravel swing away in this situation, you're hoping for a ground ball double play. Get out of this, take the tie. He hits anything in the outfield, and it's like, okay, yeah, game's over anyways.
Daly, a bit of a speedster. I wondered if they might try a squeeze play.
But again, you put this situation on a youngster like Gravel, who's not used to being in this league here.
Well, it looks like they're going to let him swing away. Gillespie delivers, and that one low, 1-0. Cardinals in the situation they want to be in right now. First and third, just one away. And remember what we said at the beginning of the inning. They'd love to bring it around to Tyler Duncan. He's now on deck.
Yep.
Gillespie delivers. Nicholson thought about going, and that's strike one. Nicholson always a threat to take off in the blink of an eye. And he is sure thinking about it right now.
Well, exactly. If he takes off to second base and negates the opportunity for a double play, I would not be surprised they load the bases.
Gillespie delivers, and that one outside. Not by much. 2-1. Gillespie now takes a peek over to Nicholson. It looked like Nicholson hadn't really had his attention. Gillespie delivers. Gravel on the ground. Coming home. They got it!
The throw is high, and the Cardinals will walk this one off.
It's a walk-off RBI for the youngster Gravel, who will finish the game, Neil, with 2 RBIs, 2 for 4. What a performance.
And quite the story he'll tell his grandkids and his great-grandkids once he's old enough to have them.
The walk-off RBI single from Cam Gravel, and I believe the Hamilton Cardinals have a player on their hands in the middle of the infield.
No question, they definitely do.
And Neil, for the Cardinals, this has got to be a real momentum builder for them. Coming home, their first home game of the preseason. They're only 8 days away, 7 days away from opening their season, 8 days away from their home opener. They pick up an exhibition victory over the defending champions with one more on the way against the Red Sox.
And you know, Tuesday they got their butts handed to them on Tuesday. Let's be honest with it. The Jackfish went out there and just absolutely pounded the baseball. And then today, they got some great performances on the hill in front of a very vocal home crowd here, and which probably gave them that little extra lift they needed today.
Well, the Cardinals come away with the victory. Tyler Duncan getting the interview with Emily down at field level after he hit the 2-run shot. He's going to be such a big part of this team on the season, Neil. But if you can find, we know what we're going to get eventually out of Rempel, DeBanning, Williams, Bernardo, and of course Nicholson. But 2 guys that I look at that we saw today, Cam Gravel, Brandon Daly.
Yep.
If they can be difference makers at times throughout the season, you've got a really, really deep lineup.
You definitely do. And it's a shot in the arm to the whole crew coming together here as far as for the future of this team as well. Just because these guys are going to get that experience, that opportunity this year to just build out on it. Hey, get the experience level. Tell some other guys that are coming up, hey, this is what it's going to take to win at this level.
Absolutely. 1 game on Cable 14 down for the week. That's school day game number 1. School day game number 2 comes up tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, right back here, Bernie Arbor Stadium, against the Brantford Red Sox. Neil, they'll look to make it 2 for 2.
Yep, indeed. They will try to do it. They'll definitely be tasked with that one, and the Red Sox definitely got an opportunity to come in here. And they're playing a lot better baseball. They went down and played London on Sunday, and they looked like they were more committed to sticking in the ball games in the later stages.
They'll look to spoil what will be another massive party in front of another massive house here at Bernie Arbor Stadium. For my broadcast partner, Neil Srivastava, I'm Ray Duthie. 1 for 1 for the Cardinals on the school day week. They'll look to make it 2 for 2. Join Neil and I again with our entire Cable 14 crew tomorrow morning, right back here at 11.